Oh man, you guys are gonna love this. Completing the square, very exciting stuff. Here's basically what we're looking to do. We are looking to turn these expressions into something like x plus 6 squared, which you remember if we were to FOIL that out, or if we knew the shortcut. Let's do it without the shortcut. X plus 6 squared means x plus 6 times x plus 6. If you were to FOIL that, we'd have x squared plus 6x, and then inside we'd have 6x and 36. So you get x squared plus 12x plus 36. Now we are going to be given this part. We're going to have to come up with that c. So the way you're going to do that is you're going to take half of this 12, and then you're going to square it. Half of 12 is 6. Squared is 36, and that'll take us to this. That's the basic premise. Don't forget that square roots all positive numbers have 2 square roots. So like the square root of 64 could be 8, or it could be negative 8. So we have to also know that for this section. Here we go. 3x squared minus 4 equals 68. Remember, if you do something on one side of an equation, you have to do it on the other side to keep it balanced. So we're going to try to isolate this x squared. Get it to just be x squared on that side. Now imagine that just said 3x minus 4 equals 68. Your old Algebra 1 skills, you'd be like, oh, well, let's add 4 to both sides here. Because negative 4 plus 4 is 0, so those would cancel out. We'd have 3x squared equals 72. And then you would get rid of the 3. And that's 3 times x squared, so to undo it, you'll divide by 3. Now we have x squared equals 24. Your last step with these, you have to undo that x squared. So the inverse operation of squaring is square rooting. Now, here's where it's important. You have to remember, we have to take the positive square root and the negative square root of 24. But 24 is not a perfect square. 25 is 5 squared. So we have to use our perfect squares and break it down with radicals. You remember back in the day. So perfect squares are like 2 squared is 4, 3 squared is 9, 4 squared is 16, 5 squared is 25, etc. So which one of those goes into 24? 4 does. So it's 4 times 6. And what is the square root of 4? 2. So we'll say x equals 2 root 6 or negative 2 root 6. Another way you can write that is you could say x equals plus or minus 2 root 6. That means the positive and negative 2 root 6. So let's try that on B. Now if you look, we can't solve this one, but we can't solve it like we did on A, where we're just moving stuff around. But if you look at this left side, this is a perfect square trinomial. This would factor to x minus 5 squared. So we're going to do that. And the inverse operation of squaring something is square rooting something. So that will cancel out that squared. So we'll just have x minus 5 equals, and then 27, if we break it down, a perfect square that's in 27 is 9 times 3. Square root of 9 is 3. So we'll have 3 root 3. Or x minus 5 can equal negative 3 root 3. Then we just do our thing. We add our 5 to both sides. And traditionally, you put the roots at the end. So we would say x equals 5 plus 3 root 3. Or x equals 5 minus 3 root 3. So I'm going to have you try a couple out here. I'm running out of time. So try these next ones out here.